Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Hybridicious episode 9. So for today's episode, I decided to do something new in a sense that I've implemented changes which I've been meaning to do for quite some time. So if you guys enjoy the changes, let me know. If you don't like them, let me know as well. And if you want to keep the changes but change certain aspects of them, of course let me know. And this could all be done in the comment section below. So starting off in net, we have Ochoa, 6'1", so he's not quite 6'3", which is my minimum, but he was the best available option. He has the acrobatic save style trait, which is pretty much his ability to make incredible saves in certain situations, and he also has 82 diving and 82 reflexes. And in my opinion, diving and reflexes are the two most important stats for a goalkeeper. He also has the long throw trait, which is a great bonus for a keeper as he is able to start off counterattacks, and we all know how devastating a well-executed counterattack can be. His only downfall was the fact that he was erratic and he was really inconsistent in certain games, so that is something to look out for. Next, we move on to the right center back with Hugo Ayala, a terrific defender. I'm glad that I tried him. Medium-high work rate, so he tends to stay on the defensive end. 76 acceleration, so he's able to reach his top sprint speed of 69 quite quickly, and he was able to keep up with most of the pacey players. And on defense, he's quite good. Notice the 84 marking. Marking is responsible for the player's ability to mark a player when you're not controlling him. And if you are controlling him and you are holding contain, that will dictate his ability to get possession back and keep a player in that certain space. So overall, a very good player. And to partner him, I decided to go with Moreno, who is another medium-high defender. And I don't like having two defenders with similar work rates, and I will touch on this in a second. Notice the 87 jumping. He was terrific in the air. He was responsible for more of the aerial battles, as Ayala is actually quite poor in terms of jumping, and of course solid defensive stats as needed. So in terms of Moreno and Ayala, Moreno has, I believe, 86 aggression versus Ayala's 67, and this worked out quite well as Moreno was far more aggressive. He would push forward and he would act as the stopper. He was a lot more involved and he was a lot more active on defense due to his work rates. And of course, Ayala would stay back because he was less aggressive. So moving on to the left back, I decided to go with Luna, who is essentially a silver Monreal. He has similar work rate, same position, and of course that Spanish nationality. 85 sprint speed and 76 strength, which is a huge bonus on a fullback. And I find fullbacks are mainly successful due to their physical stats, so I don't really pay attention to anything else. But notice the 86 aggression, another very aggressive defender, and this worked out quite well as he was able to intercept possession, get the ball back, and in this certain situation, a goal was made as a result of his aggressive tendency. Right here, once again, pushing forward, and the same thing happens. The only issue was the fact that Moreno and Luna, who were both extremely aggressive defenders, played on the left side, which in certain situations would leave gaps open, so that's something I had to look out for. Then we move on to Aguilar on the right side, and Aguilar was the opposite. He was more of an attacking option on defense, and this is something I needed to support the midfield, as there's only two defensive midfielders, and I find that it can get a little narrow, and I'd like to have some width. So Aguilar was quite good in that sense. He was able to push forward. Not the most gifted of players. He's very well rounded in terms of dribbling, defense, and his physical attributes, so he's quite useful, and I found that to be of real importance as he was able to get possession back and distribute the ball for counterattacks. And as I previously mentioned, a well-executed counterattack can be very devastating. Notice his ability to clear the ball accurately to an attacking player, and as a result, I was able to push forward, and that also led to a few chances on goal. So moving on to the midfield, we start off with Wakaso, who is a personal favorite of mine last year. Unfortunately, this year he was downgraded a little bit, but he's still quite good. Notice the medium-high work rate's always back on defense. He is quite short, not really an issue. Due to those physical stats, oh my god, he is so athletic. 95 jumping is very useful as he's able to win headers against really tall players, which is quite strange. 94 aggression is definitely, however, his best attribute. As he's essentially a pissed off midget, this guy does not stop running. He's always in the mix of the play. He's always in the action, getting his foot on the ball, being able to intercept possession. He's very aggressive. And notice in this play, the the CPU decides to push him forward. I don't control him until the very last second because I'm not too fond of the auto tackle. And as a result of Wakaso's aggression, he's able to retain possession, get it back, start a counterattack. And as we all know, a well-executed counterattack usually leads to a goal. So moving on to his partner, I decided to go with Racine. And Racine was the workhorse. He has the high work rates, and he's also quite short. So the real issue with the midfield was the height. Once again, not that much of an issue as they're very athletic players, always in the mix of the things, and they were able to make tons of interceptions, which is a huge bonus. Now, Racine was primarily meant for his ability to kind of link the defense with the midfield and bring the ball up. That was his main responsibility. Whenever there was no attacking options, I would give the ball to Racine, and he was able to bring the ball up and distribute it to the attackers in front of him. He also had a surprisingly good long shot. This was something I never anticipated. I tend to look at a player's stats prior to using him so I can kind of get a perception of what to expect in game and what to do with the player and what not to do. And I tried a few long shots with him. Not the greatest of long shot stats. I believe he has 78 in that category, but he was able to finish with high success. I didn't take too many shots, but the shots I did take with him almost all went in, which was something I never anticipated. So that was a great contribution on his part, as he was never originally intended to do that. Next, we move on to Boateng, who I'm sure most players are familiar with, so I won't articulate too much. High work rates, which is his real issue. I will touch on that in a second. Now, 4-star weak foot, 4-star skill moves, a very talented player. Notice the 89 strength combined with those physical stats. He is a physical god in game. Fast, strong, able to bully players off the ball. 90 dribbling, 90 long shots, 93 shot power, and 90 volleys. What a good player in game. The only issue is those high work rates, as he tends to get tired by, I would say, the 60th to the 80th minute, depending on how much I would use him in that certain game. And once again, I'm not going to show too many goals, as most players are familiar with Boateng and his abilities. And of course, I believe him to be the most well-rounded non-inform in Ultimate Team, and for good reason. So we move on to his partner on the right side with Lucas. Now, Lucas is another popular player, so I won't go into great detail with him as well. He has medium work rates, which is kind of a pain, but not too much of an issue considering he is so athletic. 96 agility paired with 91 dribbling, which you'll see in a second. Of course, he has great vision, great attack positioning, and a solid finisher with 89 long shots and 85 shot power. And shot power is a really important stat. If you notice, really overpowered players such as Eswine, who shouldn't be as good as they are, they have incredibly high shot power, and that leads me to believe that shot power is one of the main factors in being able to finish successfully. And Lucas definitely embodied that ability. So he's quite good. Didn't get involved in too many goals as he was on the right side, and he doesn't finish too well with his left foot. But overall, a very solid player and very fun to use on offense. Next, we move on to Ayu. And Ayu is a player I've really wanted to use for quite some time, as he has a unique skill set for a silver, very well-rounded. Starting off with his height, he's 6 foot, so he's a very dominant presence. He's not too strong, so he won't bully any players off the ball, but he's tall enough to retain possession. 82 agility, which is a great addition to a striker because he has the high dribbling with the high agility, which makes him very fun to use on offense. And he also has 83 finishing and 80 shot power. And out of all of the silver strikers that I've used this year on Ultimate Team, he is by far the best finisher in terms of regular finishing shots, long shots, finesse shots, and also poaching. He's a great poacher, great reactions, and he was able to score some really easy goals, but goals you wouldn't normally score all the time with silver players because of their kind of lower stats. And overall, a great player. I was really happy with the way he played. He had medium work rates, which meant he was kind of a offset center forward. He would play behind this man, Zlatan Ibrahimovic. I had to try him out. I haven't used him on Ultimate Team. I bought him for 560k in, I believe, January. I was still in university, so I didn't really get a chance to use him. Finally built a hybrid around him, and he is worth the coins. Best striker in the game by far. 6'5", 4-star skill moves, or 4-star weak foot, 5-star skill moves, 80 sprint speed, 90 dribbling, I believe 81 agility, which is just ridiculous for someone of his height. And of course, I mentioned shot power earlier in this episode, 97 shot power, so his finishing was ridiculous. And Zlatan, as I've mentioned a few seconds ago, is, in my opinion, the best striker on Ultimate Team, as he is such a well-rounded player, whether it's shooting, passing, dribbling, beating players with pace, with strength in the air. He honestly has no bounds, no limits. I don't really agree with the position that I played him in. Now, he did work out quite well. As I mentioned, Ayew had medium work rates. So he was kind of an out-of-position center forward. He wouldn't push forward too much, and that allowed Zlatan to kind of play as a lone striker. He was pushing forward more often, and he was getting the majority of the chances, which was something I wanted to occur. Now, I wasn't too sure if that was going to happen because I wasn't really sure to the extent of the effect of the work rates, but it turned out to be a great combination. As I've mentioned, Zlatan was always up on offense. He was the main option, and right here he's able to score a fairly nice goal off kickoff. So overall, that is the end of the episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. If I can get you guys to leave me some feedback with regards to the new format, let me know what you think of it. That would be awesome. And as always, this has been Adrian, and have yourself a wonderful day.